Comedy legend Louis Black is bringing Goodbye Yeller Brick Road, the final tour, to Steelhouse on Sunday, February 25th. Tickets go on sale Friday, November 17th at 10 a.m. Get yours at steelhouseomaha.com.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, where we talk about the continual pursuit of the section hiker.
And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
I am excited to announce that the podcast episodes that are specific to the Mountains to Sea Trail are now being sponsored by the MST Guide by Pocket Trails. The MST Guide is the most comprehensive app for maps and navigation developed for the Mountains to Sea Trail, providing unprecedented information and ease of access for day hikers, section hikers, and through hikers. Never get lost again. Updated maps with trail route changes and everything you need from parking areas, camping locations, water sources, and more. Available now for download through Google Play and coming soon for the iPhone. Check it out and download today. The MST Guide by Pocket Trails. Follow the lines in the palm of your hand. Hey everybody, welcome back to Jester's Section Hiker, the premier podcast with the spotlight on section hikers. And I'm your host, Julie Jester Gayhart. It is Friday evening, September 18th, and for this episode of the podcast, I am coming to you from Black Mountain Campground in western North Carolina. I'm going to be using this campground as a base camp this weekend as I hike on Saturday to Mount Mitchell, the highest peak east of the Mississippi, and then on Sunday for a short little hike up to one of my favorite fire towers in all of North Carolina. Hiking to Mount Mitchell is one of my favorite hikes that I try to at least hike once a year, usually in the spring, but because of COVID, I was not able to this past spring, and that's why I'm here now in the fall. The hike to Mount Mitchell is a 6-mile, over 3,000-foot climb from the base here at the campground, so it's a great place to stay and day hike to the top. And it just happens to be part of the Mountains to Sea Trail. I really enjoy podcasting from the trail, so I figured, hey, why not podcast my hikes this weekend? There's some deep history in the mountains of western North Carolina by the explorers that founded these peaks, so I figured I would read you a little story about Elisha Mitchell and Thomas Clingman. Just a reminder before I read the story that Clingman's Dome in Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the highest point on the Appalachian Trail and the start of the Mountains to Sea Trail. Here's the history of the long-standing rival between Elisha Mitchell and Thomas Clingman. On June 27, 1857, Elisha Mitchell, exploring the Black Mountain Range, slipped and fell to his death in a deep pool at the bottom of a 60-foot waterfall. Search parties were organized, and the body was discovered several days later by Big Tom Wilson. Wilson was an extraordinary tracker and guide. He was also noted locally as a skilled bear hunter and storyteller. Wilson located Mitchell's trail and tracked him to the place where he fell. Since the pocket watch Mitchell had been wearing was broken at 8 o'clock, it has been assumed that was likely the time of his death. In 1835, Mitchell announced that a peak in the Black Mountains was the highest in the eastern United States. He estimated its height at 6,672 feet, only 12 feet short of the present official height. A controversy of major proportions ensued in the 1850s between Mitchell and Thomas L. Clingman, who called into question the accuracy of the earlier observations and measurements. Mitchell died in an effort to set the record straight. Initially buried in a cemetery in Asheville, North Carolina, Mitchell's remains were later moved to the top of the mountain which now bears his name. Thanks for joining me, everybody, for another week on the podcast, and I'll be back tomorrow as I start my ascent to Mount Mitchell. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning, September the 19th, and I am working my way up to the top of Mount Mitchell from the base at the Black Mountain Campground in western North Carolina. And I would say I am about halfway. So the last sign I looked at, well, let me back up. When you are at the Black Mountain Campground, which is the base of Mount Mitchell, where you start this hike. It is a 6-mile hike, and at the base, you start off at about 3,000 feet elevation, and when you get to the top of Mount Mitchell, it is 6,684 feet. And the last sign I saw showed that I was a little over 4,700 feet. So I don't really want to do math, but it seems I have just under about 2,000 feet to climb and probably a little under 3 miles to go. So far, it has been a phenomenal hike. Now, I will say, this hike literally, when you step foot on the trail from the campground, you are going up, and there are no flat spots. So it is up, up, up to the top of Mount Mitchell, but the weather has been absolutely amazing. And what I mean by that is, it is about 55 degrees. It is overcast. And every once in a while, the sun will pop out, and hopefully it'll pop out for a few minutes up at the top so I can get some great views. Looking forward to being at the top again there at the fire tower and Elisha Mitchell's gravesite. It's always a good feeling once you climb these 6 miles to get up to that fire tower. And I will say, this is one of those hikes where, I mean, you have the goal in mind all day. And even though you are climbing, you just can't be in a bad mood because the top is so phenomenal. But I will say that typically it can be like the wide world of Disney at the top. And what I mean by that is it has a parking lot, and it's a pretty big parking lot, and it's a very popular pull-off for people to see off of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's a very popular site for road cyclists that are riding the parkway for the weekend or out for a long hike, because it's also challenging for the cyclist as well. Windy, twisty roads and climbing. So it's always good to get to the top and kind of assess who's up there and all that good stuff. But I will say the first 3 miles or so, the trail is a little soggy because we've had rain over the past couple days. But it is really nice trail, and you can tell they've done, well, I say really nice, which I mean blowdowns have been cleared, but it's very rocky and rooty. But for the most part, you've got good footing. The key to this is just taking your time, slowing down when you need to, because it is literally climbing for 6 miles with little to no reprieve. I'm going to take a little stop here. So last night at the campground, I always like to look at maps, or my map I'm going to be using, apps on the phone or whatever. So the map I have with me today is a National Geographic map that I actually bought, sadly, which I need to update, in 2006, which is, I think, the first year that I actually did this climb with a couple friends of mine, and I needed a map, and I just have never upgraded. But what's funny is on the map, there's a little square at the bottom of the map, and it says 2006, the Mountains to Sea Trail goes through this area, and we are excited that the Mountains to Sea Trail will be traveling through western North Carolina, down from Mount Mitchell, basically through the campground, and in hopes of the trail will be complete in 2020. Well, it's 2020, and the majority of the trail that you guys have heard, 61% of the trail, is actually complete on trails, and the other percentage is on roads. But the trail is complete from Clingman's Dome to Jockey's Ridge at the coast. And I certainly have been looking and following the White Circle Blazes as I go up to Mount Mitchell here. Again, I had to stop, out of breath. So I just found that interesting. I have literally never paid attention to that. And then I'm reading that last night. And it all just coincides with my peak in interest in the Mountains to Sea Trail in 2020 and continuing on in 2021. So, yeah, I will keep going here on this climb. I'm getting ready to hit a section where you get to this power line, and literally you do a ton of switchbacks. And I would say there's 5 to 10 switchbacks that take you up the trail, switching back and forth between these power lines. But the cool part of that is every time you make a turn, there are views heading toward the east, and you can see the views and where the Mountains to Sea Trail is going, and you get an awesome view of the Table Rock area. And the sun is starting to peek out again, so I'm hoping once I get up to the power line area that I will get some views of Table Rock. And I'm at a sign now that says I am at 5,300 feet of elevation. I have 2.5 miles to go until I get to the top. So let's see, 53, 63. So I have about 1,300 feet of elevation to go, which means I have done over the half of the climbing. Yay! So when I get past this switchback area with the power lines, and when I enter Mount Mitchell State Park with about a mile to go to the top, I will check back in with you guys. Hope you are having an awesome Saturday morning, and chat back soon. All right, everybody, I am back. Hopefully you guys got a little waterfall going there. I have made it through the, I call the power line switchbacks. And actually, about halfway up on the switchbacks, I met a gentleman by the trail name of Hobbit and a friend of his. And he has been section hiking the Appalachian Trail since 2009 and has about 200 miles in Maine left. So that was really cool to meet him and his friend. And he actually lives in South Carolina and is a hike leader for, I cannot remember the name of the group, but he leads hikes in the Table Rock area of South Carolina. So that was really cool. And I am getting ready to make my right-hand turn here and enter the Mount Mitchell State Park area, which means I have about a mile to go. So as I turn here, I wanted to let you guys know, hopefully last week you got a chance to listen to my day, what's in my day pack episode, because for this hike in particular, I have that day pack on, but I did add in, I have my wool hat, I have gloves, I do have both pieces of rain gear, the pants and the precip jacket. Started off in the Patagonia Houdini, but literally, I'm not kidding, about a quarter mile up, I was like, well, that's not going to work, and had to take that off. But it has actually gotten cooler since we've gotten toward the top. So as I get closer, I will probably put that back on. But just wanted to let you know, I did add those items in. I still have a full day of food, even though this is a 6-mile hike. Always just want to make sure I have that. And I did start off with 2 liters of water in my bladder, and that's been fine. It's cool outside, and there has been plenty of water on the trail, and I haven't had to worry about filling that up. But I gotta tell you, this has been a great hike, and I know I've only got a mile or so to the top, but just going through the start of the hike, a lot of rhododendron, a lot of mountain laurel. I mean, just the smells. I love it. And right now, I'm going through a pretty grassy area where I can tell they've been out doing more trail maintenance because it looks recently weeded down. So thank you to the Mount Mitchell State Park trail maintainers for that. I appreciate that. But like I said, just wanted to check back in with you guys. Really been enjoying this hike. It was awesome to meet Hobbit, who has been section hiking the Appalachian Trail since 2009. And of course, I actually gave him a business card for the podcast, because I always keep those handy because you never know who you're going to meet. So hopefully he will become a listener and a friend of the show. So I am going to turn off the mic here, get this last mile accomplished, get up to the top, and I will come back to you guys from the top of Mount Mitchell and the fire tower. All right, chat soon. All right, everybody. I am getting really close to the summit. Actually starting to see a lot of people coming down, day hikers and stuff. But I gotta tell you, right when I took that right turn and started recording, I forgot there were 2 right turns. I actually turned on the Bunkum Horse Trail and was going and was like, this is way too flat. So ended up having to turn around. It wasn't that far. I mean, if it was a quarter mile, maybe a little bit more, I'd be surprised. But man, I have forgotten how rocky, rock slabs, steep, and rooty the final mile is up to the summit. And as always, hindsight is 2020. And as I stop here to take a little break, the sun is back out. Yay! I just talked to a couple people and they said it was socked in up there, but was not too chilly. So looking forward to popping out up here, getting to the summit, and finalizing this 6 mile over 3,000 foot of climbing today. And get some snacks and food in my belly. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is an amazing hike. I am totally out of shape, climbing shape, but slow and steady wins the race. And I am almost there. So I am going to go up, enjoy the summit, and then head back down to the campground. And then I have another hike in store tomorrow that actually leaves from the base of the Black Mountain Campground as well. Actually, I've got two, and I'll decide in the morning which one I'm going to do based on the weather. I can continue on and do some miles on the Mountains to Sea Trail, or I can go up to one of my favorite fire towers in the Black Mountain Range. It is the Green Knob Fire Tower. And if it is sunny, when you get up to the tower, you can see almost the entire Black Mountain crest range of 6,000 footers. So if it is sunny in the morning, I will definitely be doing that, because that view is absolutely incredible. So hope you guys have a good rest of the Saturday. I'm going to enjoy the summit up here, and I will be back tomorrow, and we will chat real soon. Hey everybody, it is Sunday morning, September the 20th, and it is, when I say absolutely gorgeous, clear blue skies, what we call Carolina blue skies. And because of the awesome weather, I have decided to hike up this morning. It is a 3.3 mile hike from the Black Mountain Campground up to the Green Knob Fire Tower, because when you get up to the fire tower, because of the amazing sky we have, I will be able to look out and see the majority of the Black Mountain crest line, which are several 6,000 footers, and of course the beast that towers them all, Mount Mitchell. So I am excited to get up to the fire tower this morning, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I believe I have climbed about 1,000 feet already, and this is a 2,300 foot climb, again, from the campground straight up to the fire tower. But this this mountain range, the line I'm in right now, is very unique. I can look out to my right, and I can see the crest of Mount Mitchell, kind of the hike that I did yesterday. And down in the valley is the South Toe River. And over to my left is the Blue Ridge Parkway. And this mountain range I'm on right now kind of hovers right down through the middle of that. And it is, I just can't get over how crisp and breathtaking everything is this morning. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this hike. They have somebody, I don't know who, so thank you very much, whoever clears this trail. I don't know if it's the North Carolina Trail Association, but I will find out. This trail used to be a really, really tight green tunnel, and it has been a couple seasons since I've been up here, but they have really, really cleared this out and opened it up, and it is phenomenal. So I'm going to say I'm about 1.5 miles in, and one of the unique qualities about this trail is you will climb and climb and climb, and when I say climb, I'm talking like your calves are burning because the climb is so steep. But then you will have a short, steep downhill, And it kind of reminds me of mountain biking. I call them whoop-de-woos, where you will dip down and then shoot straight back up. So it is very unique, but it's a short hike. It's 3.3 miles. And then you can take a 0.4 mile little side trail and pop off down onto the Blue Ridge Parkway. So if anybody is in this area and you venture over to the Black Mountain Campground, it is an amazing campground with about 40 sites, and they are very, very spaced apart. You can reserve some sites. They've got full restrooms, showers, and several hikes that lead from that area and different hikes that loop back down into the campground. So if you are the adventurer hiker and you want to bring your family, there are several little hikes for the family as well. So just wanted to fill you guys in on that. It is an awesome Sunday morning. I'm actually on a little bit of the flat part of the trail. So you know what that means. I'm going to be holding my breath or losing my breath here because this is going to be going back up. So once I get up to the fire tower, I have another little excerpt that I want to read for you guys, because another book that I get a lot of Western North Carolina history information from is actually a book called Hiking the Fire Towers of Western North Carolina. And it actually has a lot of good history information about when the fire towers were originally constructed, who actually used to man the fire towers, and I actually like looking at all that stuff. And the fire tower I'm going up to today has actually been restored, so we will see if it is open. So I will get back with you guys and chat here shortly. All right, everybody. I actually made it up to Green Knob Fire Tower. Oh my goodness. That last half mile, well, it is a knob on the tip of a knob. It was steep. It was steep. And I forgot there were a couple rock slabs. Nothing crazy, just a couple hand over hands, but that's pretty much just to pull yourself up. But it was definitely 100% worth all the climbing to get up there. Because when I tell you the views today, absolutely phenomenal. When you're sitting on the stairs of the fire tower, the cab is actually closed and could not get actually in the tower. But you can get on the steps. And when you're sitting on the steps, and if you turn around and look out to your left, you can literally see the entire, well, almost the entire, there's another trail that you can get to Mount Mitchell to. It's called the Black Mountain Crest Trail. And it goes over, I can't remember, 5 or 6 of the famous 6,000 foot peaks and actually ends at Mount Mitchell. And it is so clear out today, you can see all of those peaks. And I am actually going to put a picture of that in the show notes. I'll also put a picture of the fire tower in the show notes. And I did post a little video on my Instagram. So if you guys want to look back, Sunday, September the 20th, I did film that mountain range that you could see. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And right now, I'm actually headed down pretty steep too, to the Blue Ridge Parkway. So if you hear vehicles, that's what that is. There's an overlook I want to take a look at. And I actually met a couple people that were out trail running, and they told me about a little trail from this overlook where you can get another awesome view. So I'm going to go down and do that before I head back to the campground, and sadly head back to Charlotte and then back to work tomorrow. But I got to tell you, phenomenal views today. The Mount Mitchell hike yesterday, amazing, even though it was clouded in at the top. I love going up to Mount Mitchell. And I wanted to let you guys know the name of the book that I was talking about earlier. It's actually Hiking North Carolina's Lookout Towers. And there are actually 26 towers in this book. And it kind of gives you the history, who used to man the towers, and all that good stuff, and where they're at now, if they're part of the Historical Fire Tower Association. And I counted when I was up at the tower, Green Knob, which is actually in this book, there are 8 towers in this book that are actually in the Southern Appalachians that you can get to on the Appalachian Trail. One of them I know is Shuckstack, Clingman's Dome, of course, and several others, Waya and Wesserbald. But this is another phenomenal book. Again, I'm going to stop here. It is called Hiking North Carolina's Lookout Tower by Peter J. Barr. And I wanted to read you guys a little bit of this excerpt here. You guys heard the story of Elisha Mitchell and Thomas Clingman. And in this book, I mean, he basically says that Dr. Elisha Mitchell once considered Mount Gibbs to be the tallest mountain in the East. If he had had the view from Green Knob Fire Tower, he would have entertained no doubt about the supremacy of Mitchell's Peak. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Green Knob Fire Tower hike. If you are in Western North Carolina, I would almost say, if the weather's good, definitely got to do this hike and see those views from that fire tower. So I am heading down to the Blue Ridge Parkway and take a look at this little viewpoint here and come on back up and head back to the campground. And like I said, head back to work on Monday, and then hopefully, if the weather is good, I will be out next weekend and be podcasting that for you as well. So hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast of a little bit of history in Western North Carolina and a couple hikes that I do recommend, and learning about the Black Mountain Campground. Take care and chat soon. To close out this week's episode, I am standing on the bridge of the South Toe River watching the water flow under the bridge. I hope everyone has enjoyed this week's episode of the hikes to Mount Mitchell and the Green Knob Fire Tower in the Black Mountains of Western North Carolina. If all goes well, I will pay a visit to Mitchell's rival, Thomas Clingman, and bring that hike to you real soon. As always, thanks for listening, everybody, and happy section hiking.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way. If you ever get lost, or if the trail leads you astray, the music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. Round up the troops, and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets in these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.